Did you know that if you go to Boston, you can ride one of the most scenic subway lines in the entire country? Not only that, but this subway line can take you under prestigious universities and over beautiful parks that are amazing in the summertime and also, likewise, in the wintertime. Welcome to Boston, Massachusetts. My name is Evelyn, and this is the MBTA Red Line. We are starting here at the deepest station in all of Boston, and that is Porter Square. Located in Cambridge, Massachusetts, Porter is right next to Harvard Law School and Lesley University. There's not that much else here besides from some apartments and some homes, so unless you live in the area, you probably won't be using this stop that often. However, it is very notable for the fact that it is the deepest station in the entire MBTA network. And for that, it is fun to visit once or twice if you're a train enthusiast or you just live in the area. To get in, we first must go down this first escalator to get to the ticket platform. The ticket platform here is where one can buy tickets. I am already on a day pass, so I will go right through. However, if you do not already have a ticket, you may buy one by using this video in the bottom left, which will show you exactly how to buy one. Alternatively, you can also tap your credit card or debit card to the reader on the screen, and you will be let on through with it automatically deducting the balance from your account. Now, I'm not sure if this works on international credit cards or only US credit cards, so one would have to clarify for me in the comments below. However, once we are through, we can start going down the escalators and descending into this 135-foot deep station all the way down to the Red Line train platforms. The train platforms here are split level, with the bottom level going towards the end of the branch at Alewife. Now, you might have heard of Alewife already due to the Claro song about it. However, Alewife is also right by Tufts University, and in addition to that, is also right across from the border with the town of Arlington. Other than that, a lot of people often use this stop as a final stop to park their car at before going into the city, and there is also a bus stop here on Flixbus with a few buses per day running by here. However, we are here to go in the other direction, and for that we will need this platform. This platform will take us either to Ashmont or Braintree. Ashmont is still in Boston, and the stop serves not that much other than residential areas. However, it does serve one of the more interesting trains in the system. That is the Mattapan Trolley, which you can directly transfer to from Ashmont. We will be making a video about that in the future, so stay tuned. Braintree, on the other hand, is a suburb outside of Boston, right next to Quincy, which this train also goes through on its way there. Braintree is notable for having a mall, where Paul Blart Mall Cop was filmed. Other than that, it is not too terribly notable, and there's not really too much to do there, other than to go to the mall, or to park your car here if you're coming from the south side and want to take the train into Boston. But anyways, our train has already arrived, so it is time to go on. Our train exists as one of the Bombardier cars. These are the most common trains that you will see, and there's some more information about them listed here. Now, as for the actual setup, we will get into them more later. Two other types of trains exist on this line, those being the Pullmans, which have a unique door closing chime like this. And thank you to a longtime viewer of the channel from even before I privated all of my videos from before. And also the newer trains from CRRC. They look like this. And for the most part, these CRRC trains are very similar to the Orange Line trains, which we will see in a few weeks in a future video. But now it is time to move on from Porter Square and to move to our next stop, Harvard. Harvard Station is of course home to Harvard University, one of the most prestigious universities in the entire world. But there's also something that not many people would expect here if you do not know the area, and that is the Harvard Art Museums. The Harvard Art Museums are a set of galleries contained right in this building, which are free and open to the public on all days except for Tuesday. It is definitely a great place to visit at least once a year if you live in the area, as they do change the exhibits often. In addition, the campus is also beautiful and very historic. Now, we move on from Harvard to Central. And while most people think of Central as mostly a stop for those who work or reside in the area, there's also some cool things to do around here. However, not every single cool thing can fit into this video. And so while we are going to view a lot more stops on this video, some of them will have to fit in this guide that I've put in the description below. Ordinarily, this guide is worth $5. However, for viewers of this video, you can get it completely for free by just watching the rest of the video and gathering the letters that are on the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. The first one will appear right after this. And with all 5 of these letters, you can enter them at checkout to get this guide completely for free. So now, moving on past Central, let's look at some of our train. We are situated on a Bombardier 1800 series. These 1800 series were produced in the 1990s, and all but 2 of them are still remaining in service. They are permanently married, so when one is taken out, the other must be taken out. As for the ones that are still in service, this is what they look like on the inside. We're unable to walk in between them. Now, looking at the seats, they are nice and clothy. They aren't the most comfortable, but they get the job done. Looking above, there's an overhead display which displays the name of the next stop and occasionally displays other information about the stop. And on the walls, there are ads, and there are also more maps that you can see. Who wants to really talk about what the inside of our train looks like when we are already at the next stop, Kendall, MIT? Kendall, MIT serves the Massachusetts Institute of Technology and also a lot of beautiful shops and restaurants by here, including the Cambridge Side Mall. One other cool thing about Kendall, MIT that I did not get to filming in this video are the chimes on the inside. I believe that these were put inside by a group of MIT students, or at least at the time when they were put in, they were MIT students, and one can ring them from each side of the platform. They are very cool and something that not many people know about. Moving past Kendall, MIT, we are going over the Longfellow Bridge, bringing us right above the Charles River. And right here is what many Boston locals consider one of the most iconic views of Boston, as this view is simply amazing of the skyline and one that you can get every day if you are a commuter on this line past this section of this line. This right here is something that all Bostonians can recognize so well and that all tourists go and take a photo of on their first time by this line. In fact, it is so amazing that I would even dare to consider it the best view possible on the MBTA subway network. But as we dive closer towards the ground, we reached Charles MGH. Charles MGH serves the Charles River Esplanade as well as Mass General Hospital. MGH, or Mass General Hospital, is known to be one of the best hospitals in the world due to the sheer amount of research that if you're not too terribly interested in medical research, there's also the Charles River Esplanade. This is an amazing park that is really fun to visit, especially during the summer, with sailboats available to use during the summer. The park is just beautiful to bike on, read a book at, or have breakfast, lunch, or brunch at over the summer, and there are many concerts also hosted. We now dive under the Charles River Esplanade as we head into Park Street. Park Street is the oldest subway station that is still continuously existing in the entire continent of America. In fact, it is so old that it even predates the first subway station in huge cities such as New York City or Madrid. And here we can get off and see our train go, but there's also some really cool things right by here, including the Boston Common. Boston Common is the oldest publicly funded park in the entire United States, and it is a very beautiful place to spend a nice summer afternoon at. Right by Boston Common is the Massachusetts State Capitol. If you have some free time between 9 to 5 on a Monday to Friday, which I know not everyone does have, but most tourists do, you can actually do a tour of the inside of this Capitol, and it is really beautiful. But with all of that being said, I would like to thank you for watching. Please leave a like if you enjoyed it, and leave a comment if you have any thoughts. I will see you next week with a video on the Blue Line.